In this lecture, we're going to talk about phrase match. Phrase match uses quotation marks to make sure your ad only appears for searches containing your exact keyword and close variants, with additional words or phrases potentially before or after your keyword. Still can generate a lot of bad clicks for irrelevant queries, but you're getting much closer to getting real control over which search terms are triggering your keywords. The defining characteristic of phrase match is query must include your entire keyword in the correct order, unlike broad match modified, and it's unlike exact match in that phrase match could still have appended, prepended words or phrases in the search query, and it still trigger that phrase match keyword. So let's go through some examples of phrase match keywords and what ads will show for and what ads will not show for. Leather desk chair, right? Closed in quotation marks over here. Buy leather desk chairs online. That's an example of what an ad might show for, even though buy and online were not included in my phrase, but leather desk chair are included in that search term in the right order as I had them in my keyword. Ads will not show for buy leather chairs online because my phrase was leather desk chair and that phrase is not inside that search query. Office accessories, enclosing quotation marks. Images of office accessories, that's a plus because again, my phrase office accessories appears in the search query with all the words in the same order. Accessories office will not show because while it has all the words, it's in the wrong order, right? And that's sort of the rule of phrase match. Extra padded chairs, enclosed in quotation marks, it's a phrase match keyword. Extra padded chairs for free, that's good to go because even though for free is probably not a search term that I want to bid on, since somebody's clearly looking not to pay me if I'm popping, but yet it's still going by the rules of phrase match because extra padded chairs is in that search term in the correct order with all the words. Padded chairs with extra padding will not show because while it has all the right terms, it has extra padded in chairs, it's again not in the appropriate order. Let's talk about some pros and cons of phrase match. You're beginning to get more control over your search terms, less unpredictability than broad and broad match modified. When you open up your search terms report for a phrase match keyword, you're going to have a lot less surprises, right? Because you'll have a lot less irrelevant clicks. Google doesn't have as much control. They don't have the full range of, they're not pulling from as much of that pool of related potential traffic to that keyword because you're now constricting that net to whatever sample of that entire potential pool has your entire keyword in that exact order. Phrase match still allows you to discover new ideas because you could find bad keywords like somebody searching for buy leather office chairs for free. You could also find some good keywords like sale on leather office chairs or something like that. You might want to put an ad group together for people searching for something on sale if you're running a sale. So you'll find good ideas for new keywords, but not as much or not as many as broad match modified and broad match. You'll see an improved click-through rate over broad match modified. It's usually a cheaper cost per click than exact match. And I say usually because it's not always true. Sometimes your phrase match keywords will be more competitively saturated than your exact match keywords. That's totally a possibility. There's no rule. But over the aggregate, you'll typically see your phrase match keywords costing less on a CPC basis, on an average CPC basis than your exact match keywords. Some of the downsides or some of the things to look out for with phrase match, you still need to be aware for negative keywords. Limits search volume for search terms in different order than your keywords. Oftentimes, the order doesn't matter, and sometimes people are too aggressive with phrase match, which is why it's not my favorite keyword match type. I use phrase match the least. I'm usually using broad match modified and exact match. Phrase match, I find that it's not always the case, or it's not usually the case that an exact phrase really matters. Say you're searching, the search term is Google Ads Management Company. Is that markedly different than companies that manage Google AdWords campaigns? So broad match modified would be fine. It's hard to find examples where that exact phrase it matters. You could have people in the travel business, if I'm searching for airline tickets between JFK and Los Angeles, then the order matters. So there certainly are cases to be made for phrase match. Limits the quality of data and ideas you'll get. With phrase match, you're not getting as many ideas, especially when you start off. So if you're building a new campaign from scratch, limit your use of phrase match. Your campaign should probably be something like 80% broad match modified and 20% phrase and exact. That's what my guideline for that would be. And lastly, phrase match typically will be more expensive than broad match modified, but again, that's not a downside. More expensive costs per click are usually a good thing. It's just something to watch out for. It's something to be, don't get caught by surprise when you see your phrase match keywords be more expensive. But not only don't get caught by surprise, also you have to know that going into it, if you want to be high on the page, if you want to win premier ad spots, even if your Google quality scores and your keyword link quality scores are really good, 7 out of 10 and above, you're still going to need to bid higher, bid more aggressively on phrase match and even more aggressively on exact match. But certainly if you're running phrase match keywords, your bid should be higher as a general rule of thumb starting out than broad match modified and broad match keywords. Then you'll get the right amount of impressions. You'll get the most impression share for those keywords if you're bidding a little bit higher. So realize that as well. And again, it's not arbitrary. The reason why better keywords cost more is because your competitors figured out that those keywords are more profitable. So if you want to play in that game and you want to also get clicks to your website that are going to be more profitable, you need to pay for those clicks in the same range as your competitors are playing. So those are the things to know about phrase match, and now you have an understanding about that. Lastly, for the positive match types, in the next lecture, we'll cover exact match keywords, when to use them, some of the things to watch out for, how they work, and some of the things to know about exact match keywords after Google has made some updates. So I'll see you guys in a couple seconds in the very next lecture.